So somebody left a comment on one of my videos of what is the next language that I'm going to be studying, and would I plan on using comprehensible input to study this next language? And the answer may surprise you, but there's several things that you must have in order to study a language. And when you're picking out a language, these are very important things to kind of consider. And one is your interest in the culture of that language, right? So you can't just try to learn a language without understanding or liking its culture, the people. And I tried this before with another language. I don't want to say exactly what language it was, but I've definitely made the mistake of trying to learn a language because I thought it sounded cool. Meanwhile, I strongly disliked the content available, the movie, the arts, the the general things about the culture. It started getting to me. I like the reading aspect of it. I like the books in English, but once I started learning more about the language and the culture behind everything, the more I realized I know hate is a strong word, but I just strongly disliked the content produced by the native people. And I think I don't want to say I wasted, but I definitely spent a long time, like a long time period of my life studying a language. I went to a place to learn it, and I find out later, after I invested over a year, about 2 years, learning this language, that I actually didn't like the culture behind it. So number one, you really have to enjoy the culture, the social media, especially in this day and age, of the language you're going to be learning. Number two, there's got to be content available in order to learn it. It's got to be some type of teaching method or teaching books available in order to learn the language. I know I see people set out on Reddit and all these other places like, I'm going to learn this most random language where there's this one textbook that I've hunted down. There's no digital audio of it, so I'm using this cassette or record player to learn this unique language because I want to be the last speaker of this ancient tribal language. That's just not something for me. I think I'm not a linguist. I'm not here to resurrect a dead language. I'm here to study a language and enjoy the fruits of my labor. And I want to be as easy as possible because the failure rate of learning languages is so great. Nobody really talks about this, but I mean, I presume if 100 people are studying a language, less than 5 of those people are going to end up with any types of fluency or being able to communicate in that language at all. Most people just give up. That's why if you're watching videos like this one right here, you're probably way more serious than the average person, but you really, really have to keep that motivation going, keep the motivation high, or you're just never going to be able to get to that next level and you're going to quit. I've seen this so many times with so many people. But again, if you're watching a video like this, you're probably really dedicated to your language studies because you're looking up how to be better at it. Number 3. So the third thing, so besides liking the content, having teaching materials available, is that you have to want to go to that country. So this is another thing that I realized. There was a language I was kind of curious in, but then I realized like I would never want to live in that country. I would never want to. I maybe visit once, but I wouldn't want to live there, right? It doesn't seem like a place where I'll spend a lot of time. So it has to make sense geographically, right? So you can't just go out there and I want to learn. I know it's really popular, probably the best language to learn. It's probably Uzbek, according to Reddit, but I would just take my chances in English if I went to go visit the country. I wouldn't just randomly learn Uzbek unless I had something to draw me to the country. Like I had a love interest there. I loved some artist or something about the country to draw me to that language. I would need a country that it would make sense logically for me, right? So I would need a country that it fits into my global idea of like, okay, I'm going to be touring this area of the world frequently, right? I'm not just going to go and visit this one country. I'm probably going to go visit multiple countries, and this country is one of them, okay? So that is going to be a very important thing. The geography of it, I'm not learning a random language on an island that I may visit once or twice in my lifetime. I just don't have the time for that. And if you want to, that's up on you. But personally, for me, my next language would not be an isolated geographic area that I wouldn't frequent that often. You get what I'm saying? Like, it could be a language just in one country, but it has to be a country that's in an area that I would frequently visit. Okay. Number 4, it has to have content that I want to engage with on social media. I know I brought this up for liking the culture, but I think you really have to, in this day and age, really enjoy the native content produced on social media. Like, my primary way to ingest and absorb a language, I mean, for the past over 10, maybe 15 years, like, my life of learning has been fully dedicated towards YouTube. That language has to have a YouTube presence. I don't mean there's a few travel vloggers. I mean there's multiple people making different types of content that I find engaging. Some languages, you'll go on YouTube and the type of content is shaky at best, right? So you're not getting content that you're normally engaged with, and you don't like the people making the content. Good luck learning that language, right? And I already have a language in mind, but there's a few runner-ups as well. Just for you to know that I don't see myself studying another language maybe for the next 5 years. I'm going to dedicate probably this next half a decade or a decade of my life just learning Thai. I don't plan on learning anything else right now. As of right now, I'm not going to be learning any other languages. But I do have some runner-ups for sure. If you know anything about me personally, you know I enjoy more travels towards Asia. I think traveling to Asia is what I enjoy the most, and there's some reasons for this. One is safety. Two, the people who live there tend to be friendly. I enjoy a lot of Asian food. I always have videos about gaining weight while learning languages, and some of y'all might think that is crazy, but I love food, especially Asian food. That is my favorite, especially spicy food, right? I love soups. I love noodles. And I definitely have some languages that fit that budget. I don't think I'll be too inclined to learn a different script. I feel like I've learned enough scripts in my lifetime already. I'm done. After I'm done with Thai, I'm probably going to be done learning scripts, and that crosses off Mandarin Chinese right there. I know some people are like, oh, he's maybe Mandarin. They have some hot noodle soups, but no, I probably would not be Mandarin. Yeah, so that one's probably off the list. I don't see myself studying characters for hours unless something drastically change. It's just not something I'm looking forward to do. There's some other languages that are kind of crossed off. I don't want to go and learn a language that is very has an area that's predominantly able to speak in English. So that rules off most likely the Philippines. So no Tagalog, so no Mandarin. I don't want. I'm okay with regional variances, but I don't want to deal with learning a language that most of your stuff is in one type of way of speaking, and every country has a major different dialect. So that takes off modern standard Arabic for sure, but also Indonesian. I was looking into that at one point. I wouldn't want to study that. You have the Burmese language, because again, I would probably retire in Thailand. So I'm thinking very heavily about this particular area. And I just don't see me wanting to learn another script, especially the Burmese script. I don't, right now it's a war torn country, but you never know what's going to happen in the future. Then, so you have Myanmar, Burmese, whatever you want to call it, Burma. You have Cambodia, but again, I'll probably spend a lot of my time in Thailand. And with current relations, I just don't see myself going that frequently into Cambodia. So there's that. And then we do have some other languages contenders as well. Really started thinking about what's that language? I already done Russian. I'm not doing Russian ever again. So that takes off that. The Romance languages, I'm in South Florida. Logically, the language should be Spanish. But I just don't, as of right now, gravitate to a lot of Spanish speaking countries. Most of the countries I gravitate towards tend to be more of an Asian country right now. If I was going to learn a Romance language, it would probably be Spanish. There was a time that I studied French, and I thought the level I got to was fairly decent. I was happy with what I was capable of doing, but then I realized that besides Paris and whatnot, and maybe Nice, I wasn't really drawn to the country as much as I thought it would be, and I don't have this strong urge to keep it going. It doesn't have that enough exotic factor. Something about me, I really enjoy the exotic factor of learning languages, and French just doesn't have that. And I talked to French people, and it wasn't what I was looking for as a language I was going to spend a lot of time. The movies in French just didn't intrigue me. There's some great French artists, but it wasn't enough to keep my interest long term. I think it was a language that if I wanted to, if Dreaming French gets up and running and gets a large library of materials, might be something interesting in the future. German, it's not exotic enough for me. Brazilian Portuguese is something that's a little bit different. My daughter has tons of Portuguese friends here. There's a strong Brazilian community here. The person who cuts my hair is actually Brazilian as well, and I get a lot more interaction with them than I do with Spanish speakers. So just because you live in an area full of Spanish speakers and everybody's telling you learn Spanish, I don't interact today with a lot of Spanish speakers, and most Spanish speakers who interact with me speak English. So it's like I don't get much of a benefit because there's always somebody around me that speaks both languages if I need it. I kind of like the exotic factor of, like, if I run into somebody and they only speak Thai, I'm the person who speaks Thai. It's not like here in South Florida, if somebody doesn't speak Spanish, they'll just go and grab some random person because every other person here speaks Spanish. But every other person, well, most people here speak English, especially in the city that I live in. It's a very, I guess you could say, bougie area. So pretty much everybody who's here speaks English very well. So you don't need Spanish. So it takes that off. Thinking about other languages, I think if you're thinking what I'm thinking, an Asian language, no different script than English, American alphabet, right? And it's around Asia. It has to be around Thailand. I'm very fond of the Southeast Asia area. I think the culture, the food, especially with soups and spicy foods, really excite me. I think you're kind of getting what I'm getting at with what language I would pick. If you think you know the language, leave it in the comment section below. And if you're right, I'll give you a heart on your comment. If you're wrong, I'll just give you a thumbs up or reply. Thank you for trying. But there's definitely a language that is very different, unique. Not many people, especially on YouTube, are learning this language, and it doesn't have like this large library of content like comprehensible input. But I think there's an opportunity for the language to be more discovered and more liked among the language learning community. And I think it's a language of the future that a lot of people don't even think about. They keep thinking Mandarin Chinese is the language of the future, but a lot of developments have happened in this country. It's close by. I like the food. The people are super nice. And the people who are even here in the city that I live in, South Florida, a lot of them are better at the language that we're talking about than English. Like, they all have their fake English name, but they definitely speak their native language most likely better, especially their parents, even though they've probably been over here for a few decades already. It's just an opportunity language right there. Again, I'm not planning on learning a language. This entire channel right here is specifically going to be moving forward about Thai. I am not switching my language. I know somebody's like, what language are you going to be studying next? Right now, there is no next. There's looking for possibilities in the future if anything caught my interest, but everything is still all about Thai. Everything is about Thai. I love the Thai YouTubers. I love the Thai content I can find free online, the Thai movies, the Thai shows, the Thai scary movies. Everything about Thai right now is a highlight of my life. Like, sometimes I just go on and watch a YouTube video in Thai, and I'm just amazed as how much I understand. I was just watching this girl talking about the differences of dating like foreigners versus Thais, and I'm just sitting here listening to it while I was working out, and I was like, I can understand all of this, and I get this entirely different perspective than I would have watching a Westerner making a video about dating Thai people. It's very unique because they make content just for other Thais, right? So they have a different kind of perspective of, how do we date? How do we go out there and interact with them? And like, their difference of flirtation's a little bit different. So it made me smile a lot, like stuff I was hearing. And I was like, oh, I wonder if my wife was thinking about this. But, I don't see anything. Like, I've never experienced a language that made me fall in love so much with it rather than Thai. So even if I could have a language that I may consider in the far future, there's never been a language that captivated me, like obsessed me so much than Thai. It is absolutely insane the amount of grap Thai has on me right now, where I couldn't see myself studying another language. It became so ingrained into the part of my life where most of the content I've watched, besides some random evil diva videos these days, is it's in Thai. This is what I'm learning. It's part of my life, and I'm enjoying every last hour of it. And a lot of it's I'm not even tracking because it's on Netflix or I'm listening to it in the car, and I don't track those hours because, like you hear me say over and over again, I think the hours that you track, you want to make sure you're tracking these high quality hours. And I just don't think multitask, especially around here in South Florida, you're going to get some high quality hours. Right behind me is so strange. There's a Armenian church where they speak all their service in Armenian. There's a nice sized Armenian community here. To the left of me is a Jewish center. So if you want to learn Hebrew, and you got Armenian right here, and to the next one over there is a Greek church. So they speak in Greek there. So you got tons of languages here. Everybody's fluent in English. Some of my daughter's friends, I'm about to pick her up from school. They speak Russian. So my daughter's friends speak Russian and Portuguese as well. So after we get to learn Thai, she probably will learn Portuguese for some reason. But yeah, it's a very interesting thing. Languages are very fun, unique. But when you're in love with something so great, you don't think too much about other languages. But you start thinking like, what if? People are like, would I've done better if I approached comprehensible input differently? Could I study this other tonal language with just input, with no teach yourself, no ASIMIL book, and just studying through just input, would I be able to learn this language? Or I could do another study. Say once I get to a high level of Thai, maybe high B2 level, I would be okay. Because this is probably going to take me more than a year from going to B1 to B2, because that jump, what I'm realizing now, just using comprehensible input, it's going to be a fairly decent jump there. So you can communicate a lot at a solid, not like beginner's A2, but like a solid A2. You can communicate a lot. B1, you can definitely throw a lot of thoughts, opinions. Like just a while ago, I was talking to my mother-in-law about she got in a car wreck, and we're talking about what's more expensive in America versus Thailand. And I was explaining to her that in America, especially South Florida where I live, car insurance is so much more expensive than other places in the United States because of all the international drivers and car wrecks and insurance fraud. I didn't know the word for fraud though. So I was telling her like not real. If you understand like anything about Thai, they have a very particular word for real. And I was just saying the no type of thing, no real. But she understood it. So I don't know if that's the right way or not. If you know, leave it in the comment section below. But yeah, I don't see myself studying anything else besides Thai right now. But if you think you know the language, again, leave in the comment section below, and I'll let you know if you're right or wrong. I'll see you in the next video right here.